And welcome to the meeting of the Public Safety Communications Task Force. I'm calling the meeting to order. It is 11:17 on January 17th, 2024, and I'm Barbara Neal. As a reminder, the meeting's being recorded, and that recording will be posted to the task force webpage following the meeting. Let's start, like we always do, with a roll call of task force members. So please verbally acknowledge you're here when I call your name. Jen Morrison.
I am here.
Yes. Michael Wright.
I'm here.
Morning, Michael. You're a little bit hard to hear, Michael, just so you know.
Okay.
Jim Mack.
I'm here.
All right. And Ron Kumitz.
I am here.
Good morning. And I do not see Mike Dungus at this point, so, but we do have a quorum, so onward we go. Also joining us, of course, is Callie Audet as our administrative support person, and our project management partners, Rick and Dom from Televate. Good morning, everyone. And
Good morning.
I see we have several members of the public here as well, so I will call your name and give you a chance to introduce yourself and any affiliation that you care to share. Stephen, we'll start with you. Not hearing you, Stephen. Okay, moving on, we'll go to Jay Gagne.
Good morning, I'm Jay Gagne. I'm the Communications Administrator for the Windham County Sheriff's Office.
Good morning. Sorry about the last name, my mispronunciation. I'll try to do better.
That's okay.
All right. Jeff Burnham.
Morning, Jeff Burnham, Springfield Police Chief.
Morning. Jim Morgan.
Good morning, Jim Morgan with Alteris Technology Partners.
Okay, welcome. Richard Townend.
Good morning, Richard Townend, also with Alteris.
Morning. Okay, I think that gets us through the list of members of the public. So on to approval of the agenda. The agenda was distributed to task force members by email. It's also available, excuse me, on the webpage. Do task force members have any changes for today's agenda? Okay, hearing nothing, we will consider the agenda approved and move on to approval of the minutes from January 10. That's regular meeting number 16. Do task force members have any corrections to those minutes? Okay. Hearing nothing, we should, I will.
Motion to accept the minutes.
Thank you,
Seconded.
Ron. Thank you, Jim. Any discussion? Okay, all in favor of approving the minutes from January 10th, raise your hand or indicate by saying aye. All righty, and I see all task force members' hands are up. So the minutes from January 10 are approved. Bringing us to public comment. If you would like to make comment, Stephen, I will assume that you do. If anybody else wants to make a comment, could you please raise your hand or otherwise indicate that you'd like to do that so I can figure out timing? Okay. So we'll open it up to you, Stephen, if you care to comment. I'd appreciate it if you kept it to 5 minutes, but we have allotted 10 minutes for public comment. So go ahead.
I have not gotten answers to the numerous questions I've asked. I've asked that the report to the legislature be sent out to the interested parties, got no response. I asked if due diligence was conducted on the Televate, no response. I've asked, it's really hard to justify this task force in the legislative arena based on the effectiveness thus far. I think that the task force needs to rethink itself and or be reconstituted because the fact that all the policy issues and anchor dragging that has been going on and incompetence in the staff support from Department of Public Safety has all been ignored. It's not a topic for discussion, but that's what this task force is supposed to do, is to fix this and get over these hurdles. And the fact that y'all don't want to talk about any of it, you know, and pretend that everything's okay and that is not getting us very far. I think the task force needs to have a discussion of whether the consult with the task force on the 9 million was a one-time or is an ongoing obligation. The task force should be oversight of that 9 million. It appears that the current RFP for strategic planning and analysis is an attempt to end around the independent review, but it's impossible to do in 3 weeks. But again, this task force doesn't seem to want to talk about any of this stuff. So I really don't know what more to say. I'd like to hear some intelligent conversation from task force members and return calls.
Okay, thank you, Stephen. Certainly we can send out the report to the legislature, to you, and to anyone else who's interested. And Jen, do you agree that perhaps that report should just be posted on our webpage?
Sure. Yeah, I
Yeah,
think it's on the committee's webpage that we delivered it to. So why not?
That as well. Yes. And Callie, do you have a copy of that, right? Copy
I don't believe I have the
Okay.
final copy, no.
Okay.
But I can get it posted to the website.
Okay. I will get it over to you right after this meeting. Okay. All right. On to new business. Do task force members have any new business for today? I think it might be worth mentioning under new business just that the commissioner and I testified at GovOps yesterday about changes to the Budget Adjustment Act. They have developed some language that will ensure our access to the second allotment of funds for subject matter experts should we need it. We'll have to go through a request through joint fiscal, but it removes the time requirement that it happened in 2023 or 2024. So there's no date associated with it. And also ensures a similar mechanism for access to any funds that we may need for pilot project funding. There are limits involved there, but it's all outlined in Act 78, what all those limits are, if you want to take a look. And Jen, was there anything else that you think we should add on that? Okay. Okay. Nothing else from task force members, correct? Moving on then to executive session. So I will do my usual two-step process here. And first, I'll make a motion that the task force find that sharing information about bidder responses publicly would put the task force at a substantial disadvantage in making a decision about awarding a contract or contracts. Is there a second to that motion? Jen, thank you. Any discussion? Okay, all in favor of making that finding, raise your hand or indicate by saying aye. I see all task force members' hands are up, except Ron, I don't see you. Okay, all right. All right, so we've made that. That's okay. I mean, it is, I could have just asked if anyone opposes it, I suppose, but looks like we're all in favor of making that finding. And so the next step then is to, and I will do this, I will make a motion to move into executive session for the purposes of discussing one or more contracts. And that I would also add that Televate representatives should be included in that executive session. Is there a second?
Sure.
Second.
I'll second.
Okay.
Go ahead, Jim, you can do it.
I think Jim got there first. All in favor, raise your hand or indicate by saying aye. All right, I see Ron's hand. I see all hands. Jen, you're in favor, I take it? Yes.
Yes.
Excellent. All right.
Yep.
I will see everyone, I will see those invited to executive session in the executive session link. We can notify other attendees when we return to the regular session. Did you have something to add, Jen? No? Okay. All right. See folks over in the other link.